Everybody, it is June 13th, almost the middle of June, getting close. It is Monday, another day in paradise in beautiful Las Vegas. And we have 43 days of inventory. Yes, we're selling this year an average of 125 homes a day. And if you divide that into 5,393 availables, you get 43 days of inventory. We have 388 high rises, 563 condos, 4,039 single-family homes, and 403 townhomes. Over the weekend, you listed 119 single-family homes that were 485,000 or under, for a total of 1,293 homes, 485 and under, which is 32% of the active single-family homes on the market. So that is 1/3. That is a huge number, and that's fantastic. Hopefully that will make more people realize that the journey to buying a home isn't as difficult as it was. That's what we can hope for anyway. Hi, Vicki. Good to see you. I see you today. There you go, Vicki. Thank you for joining me. Yeah. And what else do we have? Oh, the $1 million homes are still selling. We have more than we did on the inventory this year so far. We have 837 available today. And we have sold 890. So that's 5.53 that we're selling per day. So that's over $5.5 million homes that we're selling per day. That hasn't changed. That has not changed. So the market is still very warm in the $1 million home category. The investors are still buying homes, of course, with the high rents, and some people that are finally realizing, hey, I have all this equity. And if I have all this equity, maybe I should sell. And we look here, and here's what we see. Yes, if people bought a home in 2021, they have, let's move this over a little bit. They have $120,000 worth of equity if they bought a medium priced home in 2021. Because the median price now, that home will sell for $485,000. And the list gets greater as you go up. So if you bought a home, even after the foreclosure bust, you have $365,000 worth of equity because you only paid $120,000 for that medium priced home. And so that's why we see so many people listing their homes now. So they're worried about, here's the dynamic. They're worried about that interest rate. They have to pay more for their payment. And hi, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you for info. Yes. So I appreciate that, believe me. Anyway, so the point is, people are saying, okay, let's sell now. Let's take this equity because the market might adjust. And then I'm not going to have all that equity. So I need to take the equity now. And then and I'll be fine because I have all this equity. So my payment won't be as much as if I put a little bit more down, or you can even buy the interest rate down. You can do it adjustable. 6% isn't that bad. It really isn't. We always talk in class on Friday. We were talking like when many of us got into the industry, the interest rate was 12 and 13%. People still bought homes. They got creative. They figured it out. And so 6% is not that bad. We have probably taken some of the first-time home buyers out of the market. However, FHA is working on a target program to help first-time home buyers get back into the market. So we will see them come back. Yes, we'll see that happen. And so that is it for that today. The other thing I want to talk about today is, just want to do a what if. I just want to do a what if. A what if Monday, okay? What if I shoot this video and one person's life gets changed? And what if I shoot this video and one person watches it and it's exactly what they needed to hear to make a decision to choose you as their agent, right? And so do you know someone that is constantly what-ifing themselves into a state of anxiety or worse, into non-action? So just for today, just for this Monday, what if you flip the switch on? Flip it on. What if you decided that all of your what ifs, what if I make the phone call and they reject me? How many agents think that, right? We don't want to hear that click on the phone, or we don't want to hear I'm not interested, or we don't want to hear I'm too busy to talk. What if I shoot the video and nobody likes it? Nobody's a big, that encompasses the world, right? And I doubt that. What if you switched it and said, what if I shoot this video and just one person's life gets changed? What if I shoot this video and one person watches it and it's exactly what they needed to hear to make a decision to choose to buy a home? What if I dial the phone and a past client or a friend desperately in need of me in that moment? That happens. And what if by following my schedule today, I actually regain control of everything I'm doing in my business? What if? See, it's so easy to what if yourself into negativity. And, many books have been written about positive thinking. The Secret is one that my friend Aaron Taylor embraces, and he teaches it to his team. Tom Ferry wrote a book, Life by Design, and he said that the average human being is 6 moves from death and dying. Wow, 6 moves. I say to them, for example, or he says to them, for example, hey, you should make your phone calls. And people would literally go, what if I made my phone calls? Oh my God, I might get rejected. If I get rejected, I'm not going to feel good. And if I don't feel good, I'm not going to take any action. If I don't take any action, I'm not going to sell any houses. If I don't sell any houses, I'm not going to make any money. And if I don't make any money, I'm going to die. Well, all that said, hey, what if you did make some phone calls? That's the way the mind is conditioned. What are you going to do to break the cycle and start doing the positive? What if just today? Positive what ifs all day long. Promise that today will be the best Monday ever. What if it is the best Monday ever? Think about that. And I heard Tom Ferry say this in one of his Mindset Mondays, and I thought, that's it. What if? Let's think positivity. Gary Vee talks about positivity versus negativity, and we have a bigger platform now for negativity because we have social media. So you can be the positive force out there. What if? What if you make that phone call and somebody says, oh, I'm too busy? I said, but do you really want to? Let me just tell you just for 5 minutes about the real estate market. They might say, okay, go that extra mile. Go that extra mile. Let's talk something. Let's change the subject. We're going to change the subject quickly. It's a Monday. We're not going to spend half an hour today. So I want to go over something. The Zillow came out with a report, and it was about if there's a bubble. And of course, what we say is there is no bubble. And there is no bubble because the housing market is incredibly hot. Home values back in April. Now, most economists, sorry, my nose is itchy. Most economists think that there's no bubble. And so Zillow actually went and talked to them and got them to evaluate the market. And they didn't do May because May just passed. So they did April. And April was up about 21% over last year, marking the 13th consecutive month of record-breaking annual home value appreciation. Affordability is greatly suffering too, as the astronomical rise in both home prices and rents over the last 2 years coincides with a more recent hike in mortgage rates. However, an extremely hot market does not necessarily mean one is a bubble. Although there's a recession looking more and more likely, the housing market is a far different beast than what we saw in the mid-2000s. And I'm thinking here, many of you maybe that are listening were too young to really experience the havoc that was created by that crash. But unlike in 2006, this market is underpinned by strong fundamentals and has been built on mortgages with sound credit. Yes, you need more than being able to show up to get a mortgage nowadays. factors that are not going to change in the near term. So it's harder to get a mortgage. They don't want these mortgages that have that the person getting the mortgage has no ability to withstand maybe losing their job or something like that. They want people that are solid and can make that mortgage payment. So the next question people have, because again, people say that there is no bubble. 68% of the people that were polled, the economist said there is no bubble. Bubble implies a crash, and we have too much equity that has been attained, like I just showed you over the years. All this equity is one of the reasons, strong reasons, number 2 in my book, why there is not going to be a crash. Number 1 is the mortgages since this time are much stricter guidelines. So not only did these people who got these mortgages or not, if they pay cash, they definitely are not in trouble. So anyway, if they did get mortgages, they had to go through hoops to get that mortgage. They had to put X amount down. They had to, and their equity has done nothing but grow. And the interest rate, it was 4 or 5, and now 6. And I know there for a while it was 3, but that to me was like an anomaly. I don't know if I'll ever see that again. But anyway, the market is strong because we have equity, and because the people who have borrowed money are strong. And I think the foreclosure rate is like under 2%. So there you go. So a recession is looking more and more likely, and the housing market is a far different beast than what we saw in the mid-2000s. So unlike in 2006, this market is underpinned by strong fundamentals, like we just said, and it's been built on mortgages with some credit. So when this panel that Zillow hired, largely they don't believe the housing market is in a bubble, and it does foresee a recession coming soon. The largest portion of this panel, 45% of them, expects the next U.S. recession to begin in 2023. And Peanut has something to say here. Let's see. Peanut says there is no bubble, but yes, we are entering a bear market. The housing market isn't sustainable because of macroeconomics. People aren't making enough cash to afford housing. Okay, and then Peanut says, especially if inventory keeps growing and the Fed keeps raising rates. Yes, that is a problem. So let's see if I missed anything. And Peanut says you can't ignore the data for price cuts, rising inventory. Inflation has decimated all markets. The Fed will have to crash real estate, or we will become Venezuela 2.0. Oh, Peanut. Oh, I don't know. But these people, just, someone else's opinion here that Zillow hired, they think that 45%, we expect the next recession to be in 2023. So, which gathered more votes than people who thought it was going to be this year, which that was 30% of the panel. And 8% think it's not coming till 2024, and 70% said it will be beyond 2025. Well, we don't have a crystal ball, unfortunately, do we? The Great Recession was triggered by a housing crash, and it's a relative outlier in the grand history of recessions. Yes, it's one of the worst. And that's often strengthened investments in housing due to its relative stability as an asset. So anyway, and we showed you that, how much equity people have. And the Federal Reserve, let's address that. I'm going to see what Peanut has to say here. Peanut says positivity is the market crashing so first-time homebuyers can get a small taste of the American dream. Yes, right. I hear what you're saying. The Federal Reserve is working to strike a balance between twin mandates of reducing rampant inflation and avoiding a recession. Yeah, I don't know how they're doing that exactly. I'd like to know. Those polled by Zillow are skeptical that this soft landing will be achieved, as 56% of survey respondents do not expect the Fed to materially reduce inflation. So let's listen to that again. 56% of surveys respondents do not expect the feds to materially reduce inflation while averting a recession. That's too complicated for me. That's economically too complicated for me to tell you what it says, honestly. The remaining respondents are clearly split, with half believing the Fed will be successful in avoiding a recession while reducing inflation, and the other half are not so sure. Of those who doubt a soft landing will happen, 3/4 see a short recession as the most likely economic outcome. And they still expect home prices to rise, despite a more than 100 basis point increase in mortgage rates since the previous survey. That's 1%. Just 3 months ago, the potential for higher rates in coming months, the panel's expectations for 2022 home price appreciation still rose 9.3% from 9% last quarter. This would be a significant step down from 19.6% appreciation observed over the 2021 calendar year, but still high above historical levels. And let me put this back here because I brought this up in Friday's class. If indeed the this $485,000 median price is sustainable, if it is, but let's say it stops there, but I don't know. But we'll see. I don't have that crystal ball. I really don't. But I do know that it would have to adjust, like almost 10%. And if it adjusts to almost 10%, people would still have equity or still wouldn't be in trouble if they bought a home in this year, because the median price started out at $425. So we would have to take a pretty big dip in the value of the homes. So the median price would have to go down that much. And if it did, people would still be okay. It would be like 2022 appreciation didn't happen. I think that's probably, in my opinion, and I'm not an economist. I've just been in this business a long time, seen a lot of things. I'm out there doing my stats all the time, reading Zillow, reading Buffini's coming out with his bold predictions in 2 weeks, listening to Dr. Young at NAR. I don't know if anybody really knows. And David Snyder, the mortgage guy, I like him. I listen to all these people and I don't hear anybody really knowing. And I know, Peanut, you have your opinion, and we'll see, right? I have mine, you have yours, and that's what makes the world go round. So I appreciate it. Peanut, you have to hear what Peanut says. He says, if we go back to 425, maybe the first-time home buyers can come back into the market. And yeah, maybe so. And it really wouldn't hurt anybody, unless you just bought your home this month, but it would go back up again. It would be a temporary setback, in my opinion, because I think it would. Over time, real estate always goes up. No matter whether you invest in the stock market or real estate, over time, and you don't get silly and make bad mistakes, of course, your asset will appreciate. So I think we're okay. So that's what Zillow has to say. And they think the most optimistic the most optimistic of respondents predicted that prices would continue to rise between now and the end of 2026. While the most conservative predicted a cumulative rise of only 9% between now and 2026. I think that would be more rational, in my opinion. Peanut, I hear you, and I do agree that we can't keep going like this. Things have to adjust. That's what I believe. On the average, respondents are forecasting a 26% cumulative rise by the end of 2026. Well, okay, so over the years, real estate rises 5%. So 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, that's 25%. So there you go. I mean, that's just history. That's just history. And that would be, if we just slow down, maybe it'll adjust a little bit, and then it'll just go up every year 5%. That's what real estate normally does, depending on where you live. So anyway, The addition of Zillow Home Price Expectations Survey surveyed 114 housing market experts and economists between April 27th and May 9th. The survey was conducted by Pulsenomics, LLC, on behalf of Zillow. And the Zillow Home Price Expectations Survey and any related materials are available through Zillow and the Pulsenomics. And they've got some nice charts. If you go to Zillow and scroll way down and look at the, I think it's housing research or just research, because they have some nice charts that they can show you if you're a graphic oriented person. I know Jimmy Dague is, so they have some nice graphics to go along. The article's not that long, 4 or 5 pages, but I think that it basically says that there's probably going to be a recession, but not a housing crash. We're not in a bubble. Anyway, y'all have a great Monday. I look forward. I will not be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is my day of research. So I'm taking Tuesdays off. So I will not be here tomorrow. I'll be back Wednesday with the stats, and we'll see how the market's going, and we'll do some marketing. We talk about some more marketing techniques to help you grow your business, and you all have a beautiful day. I'm going to put everything I talked about today in the group, Ruthie Rocks at Facebook. And oops, Peanut has one more thing. Let's see what Peanut has to say. May's CPI data came in the highest. Investors know that this put pressure on Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed. He will have to raise rates higher and faster. Well, Peanut, you said it, and we'll watch, right? We'll see what he seems to be on the ball. So we'll see what happens. Thank you, Peanut, for all your comments. We appreciate it. We appreciate everybody commenting because it gives all of us a different perspective. And if you're going to make it a what if day, make it a positive what if day, right? What if things turn out for the best? I hope so. I love you all. Bye-bye. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. See y'all.